Hi there and hello. Today we are going to be talking about the new album Kicks by the artist NakamuraEmi. As much as I'd love to say her entire name this entire video, I'm just going to stick with calling her Emi, just for simplicity's sake. Emi is a singer and songwriter from Atsugi in Japan. She is probably most known for her kind of collection and series of various albums and EPs and songs. And so this series of hers was titled Nippon no Uta wa... Hey, hello, it's me from the future, but still your past. I'm in the editor's chair. I was looking over my footage, and apparently I tried to say the name of this music album series about a dozen times, and I got it wrong every single time. And not only that, but it was like a major tongue twister. So I'd like to go on record and actually say it properly and flawlessly for the video. So the name of the series was called Nippon no Onna o Utao. And it's that easy. So thanks. Also try to guess when the coffee kicked in the video. I think it's pretty apparent. But yeah, enjoy the rest of the review. Please and thank you. And that was a project that was in progress for about 10 years, and it seems like she's pretty much abandoned it for now as she's trying to kind of branch out away from being known for just that series. And so of course, because it's a series of albums, I have my opinion on it, and there are a lot on there that I really like. That first album, which I think is a collection of EPs, is my favorite by far, though I do also really like volumes 4 and 5. However, in my opinion, everything after that has been kind of not amazing, or at least not as amazing as those first few projects. Additionally, she had also released a second volume of a best collection of that second half of the series. I also wasn't really a fan of what was collected on there either, and she actually also released a new album a few years ago, which I wasn't too hot on either. So this album here, Kicks, is now her second non-series album, I suppose. So with all that rigmarole out of the way, how is it? So for me, this album really seems like a return to form for her. I think there's two main reasons why I kind of fell off the NakamuraEmi hype train. Number one is that she stopped rapping as much. And I don't think I've actually mentioned that yet. I love when she raps. I think she has a super strong voice. I love her lyricism. I love her delivery. Everything about the way she raps is super unique, and I also really like that a lot of the time she'll actually rap over acoustic guitar as opposed to electronic production, which I think is really unique. And I think the other reason that I kind of fell off is that she began rapping and singing about something I couldn't really connect to, that being her life as a middle-aged Japanese woman. And from what I know, not many Japanese middle-aged female rappers talk about that a lot, so I thought that was super unique, though it just never really connected for me for very obvious reasons. So while those topics do still appear on this album, it is to a much lesser degree, and it really feels like to me that this album is a sort of victory lap. And so like I said, for that reason, it feels like a total return to form for her. For example, I love how she raps on the first song called Hi o Tsukuru. So in English, the title for this would be Making a Fire. So I think it's interesting that she's not choosing to use the word light a fire, which would be the word tsukeru in Japanese, but here she uses tsukuru. So I think there's kind of a play on word there, but I also think there is also the whole symbolism aspect of making a fire versus lighting a fire. It's a little contextually different, and with this being the title of the first song on the album, I thought that was a kind of interesting little detail to mention. She also raps on the song called Aruku, which means brightening, becoming brighter, things of that nature. So in my opinion, the production on this album is really interesting because she is primarily rapping over a piano arpeggio for the entire runtime of the song. And I just think that is so unique and something I'm surprised I haven't really heard more of in Japanese or English hip-hop. I also really like how in this song, her backing vocals are also mapped to MIDI inputs. They're like used as part of the backing production, so I thought that was a really cool way to incorporate more of herself into the track as well. And then with those vocals too, there is this very light guitar playing like way off in the back channels, and it is like on the exact same key and pitch as those sampled vocals. So it's almost like picking up the pace in a way of those MIDI inputs. I just thought that was so cool. And so of course there are other songs she raps on too, but I think now let's talk about how well she sings on this album. And I haven't hyped her up much yet, but she is a fantastic singer. I love her voice. So for instance, on the song Mainichi no Yoru, which is called Every Day's Night, she has this kind of like Latin-y sort of vibe to her like rhythm and cadence. And I just find that her vocals are just super well suited for that kind of song just in general. I just love how she sounds there, and she really pops off on that one too. So far we've talked about her rapping and singing separately, But now let's combine that into what might be her next big hit, in my opinion, and that would be the song called Hello Hello. This is easily the best song on the album. This was the first song that I heard from this album, and upon listening, I was like, I gotta check it out. She's so bad. There are also 2 features on here too, one of which is someone who's no stranger to my channel. That would be Shinu. So this was actually my first introduction to her as well. So when I saw that she came out with her new album this year, and then I had heard the one from last year, I was like, there go all my stocks. I am investing early. Let's make a video. I just think that all of the features on here are just playful and fun. I love the production. I love NakamuraEmi. She's so great. I love the guitar in the back half, which is awesome. Again, this song is like a triumphant return for her. And another thing of note too in this song is that one of the features is actually beatboxing towards the end too, which kind of gets mixed in with the percussion. But if you listen for it, it's totally there, which I guess just kind of goes to show how good of a beatboxer he is. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the album. Pretty short in general, but I did really like it. And you know, given Emi's output over the last like 6 or so years, I was really unsure of how I should feel about this going into it. But man, I was so happy to hear so much of this album. She's so back, and I love this so much. I think my favorite part about her and her music and her singing and her rapping is that her voice is just incredibly like strong and forefront in the mixes, and it really has this sort of commanding presence in the songs that I guess I was really missing. So hearing her rap again, having that fire lit under her again, like she kind of alludes to in that first song, was a godsend. I think ultimately it just proves that she still got that dog in her. One other thing I will say too is that she's now very far into her career, and for that reason I don't really expect her to kind of match that same energy and output as she did 10 years ago, but still, even the highs on this high don't come close to those on her last few projects, because I just could never really get into them, so I'm happy to see how much she has improved over those. Unfortunately, at this point, I still haven't talked about what didn't really work for me on this album, and that would be a few main things. A few of the songs just never really hit for me in any way. For instance, the song Kyukoku no Kyujitsu was just nothing I really managed to feel anything about. Additionally, another song called Hakuchumu I just couldn't really get into either. And it's to the point where they aren't that middle of the road kind of feeling for me where I have no opinion. I have a slightly negative opinion of them, so for that reason I feel like they kind of drag down the album in a way. While I am still happy that they're included on this album, I feel like they're too reminiscent of those past few projects that I wasn't a fan of, and so naturally I just couldn't really connect with them in any way. With all that said, I want to rate this album a 6 out of 10. Like I said, it's got some really high highs, but quite a bit low lows as well that I know I will be skipping upon a re-listen. But yeah, I really am happy that she's back. I don't really know to what degree back is for her, but if we get one more album with this kind of output and energy and enthusiasm and fun, I would love that. That'd be so cool. And if that's all it is, then I'd probably rate it higher than a 6 out of 10, but who knows? And yeah, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. And this is my first video of 2025, so let's make it a good one, I guess. Woo, okay, bye.